We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, His Excellency Ambassador Medhat Meligi, the former Assistant to Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time. And let me start, Mr. Ambassador, by asking you, how important do you see, the Egyptian interests in partnering with France as well as other countries, really, to work towards reaching a ceasefire in Gaza?
Well, the Egyptian efforts have been noted by everyone around the globe about what we want to do, what we want to reach. The most important thing that our efforts from the beginning until today have been consistent, have been regular, have been in the same direction ever since the eruption of this war. However, what I want to say is that when it comes to other countries, I think that the situation is a little bit different. I mean, we have now Mr. Stéphane Séjourné is coming to talk about the French role and how the French, and we have to remember that France has a role at the beginning, if you remember the Paris Accord that we reached at the beginning regarding a ceasefire and so forth. However, these were never implemented simply because there is no real political pressure or a real political will from Israel and its allies to really reach an agreement.
Yes.
We've heard it clearly from the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. We heard it from the ministers. We heard it from the prime minister himself, that there is no solution for this except for the total destruction of Hamas and the demolishing of its structure at all. And unfortunately, this does not lead to reach any kind of ceasefire or implementation of any initiative, whether presented from Egypt or even from other countries. I mean, if we want seriously to be talking about the concrete efforts, has been, I mean, the latest thing that we have seen is that there is a joint communique by the United States, France, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy, who vote themselves and pledge to help Israel to defend itself against any aggression from Iran. And not mentioning that if there will be any escalation from the side of Iran, it's going to be an answer and a reaction to the killing of Ismail Haniyeh inside Tehran, the capital of Iran. Nobody is mentioning this, but at the same time, the Western Hemisphere is talking about defending Israel if any attack from Iran, and actually they are warning Iran clearly. I'm not talking here about Iran per se, but I'm just giving an example of the double standard applied by the West in general. Even though that France are planning to help and to reach an agreement, but we are looking more importantly to its political will to put any real pressure on Israel to abide by the international law and by the several resolutions previously reached by the United Nations or by other bodies of the United Nations, such as the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, that have decided that Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. Nevertheless, we didn't hear from France anything about a condemnation of the Israeli action so far, although their goodwill and their good intention to reach a ceasefire. But this has to start by condemning the genocide that is taking place and perpetrated by the Israeli IDF on the Palestinian people.
Absolutely.
If we do not have that, then we will not reach an end to the several initiatives that have previously been presented, because Israel understands that it has the backup of the Western countries in its war against the Arab world or the Middle East countries who are against these policies, considering the Palestinian rights.
Absolutely. Your Excellency, as you mentioned, of course, and in his meeting as well with the French Foreign Minister, President Sisi stressed about the role of the international community in pressuring, to stop the escalation in the region. How dangerous, is this escalation, in your opinion, in light of the current events on the ground?
Well, if we do not have concrete measures on how this is going to be implemented, then they are going to be just empty or hollow words coming from this high French official. Because, I mean, you are one of the countries who are providing Israel with weapons. Do you have any plans to stop providing Israel with weapons to continue its mass murder against the Palestinians? Do you have any plans to force any kind of boycott or any kind of sanctions against the Israeli regime because of what's been going on until today? Unless we hear something concrete in this direction, then, as I said, they are going just to be empty words that are totally useless to use at the current stage.
Absolutely.
If Israel does not recognize that there is a real pressure against it, it will continue doing so. As I said in the beginning, we are just waiting at least for a word of condemnation, and I am using the word condemnation, just the way they used it against the Russians, for example, for invading
Ukraine.
some parts of Ukraine, or any other kind of aggression. In this kind, we hear words of condemnation, but when it comes to Israel, we just hear about concerns, we hear about worries, but we don't hear about condemnation. When the French are ready to condemn, that's when we think that the situation might change.
Absolutely. On that note, I'd like to thank you very, very much, Your Excellency Ambassador Medhat Meligi, the former assistant to Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight, and for joining us this afternoon on Cairo Local Time. A short break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back for more. Do stay tuned.